It's William West Hopper from Automotive Business Report and Queer4Cars, and we're here with the 2020 Mini Cooper HT Electric. Now this is the perfect little electric runabout for living in the city or in the suburbs. Now it doesn't have enough range for really going long distances, but with about 100 miles per battery charge, you're going to be able to get plenty of places and you're going to have a lot of fun driving it. Now there are a lot of small cars out there, but there's really only one Mini. And when you make a Mini electric, that is a very special car. And it handles exceedingly well. All Minis handle well, and I, as a car enthusiast, had never really thought about it. I thought they were cute little cars. Until I got behind the wheel of this Mini electric, I'm sold on Minis in general, just because they're a blast to drive. So what do we like about the Mini Cooper Electric? It is a little go-kart on rails, and you're going to have a lot of fun driving this car. Now, from what I understand, even if you buy a gasoline-powered Mini, you're going to have a lot of fun driving those as well. Now, the nice thing about the gasoline Mini is that you can go to a gasoline station and fill up. But with the electric Mini, you have to charge it at a charging station or at home using a 120 outlet. Now, or you can use the 1772 charger at your local grocery store or anywhere that they have an electric charger, which is in a lot of places here in the Washington, D.C. area. Now you're going to really enjoy driving this car because it's a lot of fun. And people think Mini because it's Mini. Well, it might be Mini on the outside. It's certainly not Mini on the inside. There is plenty of room for cargo. There's plenty of room for the front passengers. Now, the one thing there's not a lot of room for is those rear seat passengers, and you're going to find that out in this Mini HT. It's a little tight back there. It works. Now, I don't want you to think that there is no back seat space. There actually is. Well, there is backseat space. It's, shall we say, cumbersome to get into. And while there is a back seat, and these back seats are very comfortable, and actually they're pretty spacious. They have there's three cup holders back here, one in the center and one on either side. But if you move the seat back and into place, really there is no leg room whatsoever. Like a Fiat 500, there's really not a whole lot of leg room here in the back if the seats are moved back. Yes, you can carry a few people in here, but I wouldn't make it a whole lot. So if you're thinking about carrying passengers, the back seat may not be the place. You're definitely going to be okay with carrying one passenger in the front. They've got plenty of space in there, but getting in and out of the back of any little mini car or any small car is not the easiest thing, and this one certainly is not. And yes, this vehicle has a glass moonroof or a sunroof. And what's very nice about it is, in addition to the screen here, it has a sunscreen that you can manually move forward, and it can be closed even when the sunroof is open. Now the car also has a glass roof for the rear passengers, but that is not operable. Now the interior of the Mini is very well appointed. It's got nice seats that are very comfortable. It's got a manual thigh support, which is very nice for those of us who have longer legs. The seats are manually adjusted. Don't expect electric seats in this vehicle. Now you're going to find that this little car has simple 2 pedals the brake pedal and the accelerator pedal. But what you don't know is that being an electric car, it really offers one pedal driving. So when you're driving in the city or in the suburbs and you come up to a stop sign, you don't have to hit your brake, just lay off the accelerator pedal and the vehicle will slow down and come to a stop. Now this vehicle does not have auto hold like we found on the Bolt, but it does come to an almost to a stop. It'll creep for a little bit and then you can hit the brake pedal. The steering wheel is pretty basic. It has controls on either side. The driver's dash is very basic. It gives you the basic information that you need, the battery power that you have, your electric power that's in the car, and of course your speed. But it doesn't have a whole lot of different menus to go through. You will find more menus to go in the center screen. Now the one thing we found about the center screen is it has a surround that has multiple colors that are telling you different things, and that's a little confusing. You can turn off the video on the screen, on the center screen, but I have not figured out how to turn off the circle of lights on the outside, which is kind of fun, but after a while it gets to be a little much. Now, the Mini Electric has a heads-up display. It is controlled here on the center stack. You'll see the little screen that pops up. This is sort of an old school way of doing it as opposed to projecting the information on the windshield or windscreen, which would be nice. Normally what it shows is the amount of speed and other information that you might want while you're driving, including what the speed limit is, which is very useful. But I personally am not a fan of the little pop-up screen, so I put it down. Now you're going to ask about wireless charging. Why, yes, the Mini does have wireless charging under the center console armrest. The only thing is that it does not fit larger, longer phones like my S10 from Samsung. It's a great idea. It would be just nice if it fit. And while the light's on, it's definitely not charging. So yes, there is one, but make sure your phone fits. This Mini Electric has a 32.6 kilowatt per hour Li-ion, which is a lithium-ion battery, which is a small battery for a car. It's not going to take a lot long, but it does give you plenty of power for running around. Now, one of the things that you're also going to find when you use that power is that it is the power for your lights, it's the power for your air conditioning and your heat. In some electric cars, they use resistance heating, and that takes a lot more electricity. And some cars use a compressor, a heat pump situation. And that also, it uses power because it's running a heat pump. And then in some cars, not a whole lot of stuff going on. So that could be an issue. So that's something that you think about in the winter if you're in a cold environment. And yes, the battery is not going to perform as well during the colder months. It really does like warmer weather. Now, it's not going to really like really hot months either. So either extreme of temperature is going to be an issue with a battery electric car. So just be aware that, you know, it's an important thing to think about when you're using a car that runs on battery, what your actual use. It has 4 different levels: Green Plus, Green, Mid, and Sport. I've been driving a lot in Sport, I've been driving in Mid, and I've driven in Green. Now, the thing I found interesting about Green Plus is that it shuts off all of the other items in the vehicle that use electric power. So there's no heat, no air conditioning, no heated seats, none of that. You still have your lights and your radio, but that's it. If you live in a mid-Atlantic area like this, the suburbs or the city, an electric car is going to be great. Now, the key to it with an electric car in the city is, where do you park your car? Now, if you park on the street, you really do not want to run an extension cord, which is not a good idea, to your little plug-in, your J1772 plug-in that comes with the car. That's really not great. It's nice to have an off-street parking spot where you can plug your car into. Have a parking garage that has chargers, electric chargers in it. That is really helpful. If you live in an apartment building, do they have electric chargers there? Or do they have just an electric outlet that you can plug into in your parking spot? That's helpful. You'll find the chargers at hotels, at restaurants. We've found chargers like the charger behind us often at Marriott and Hilton properties, and that has always been helpful to recharge the cars there. So recharging is really a key part of owning an electric vehicle. So that's just part of the thought of it. It's just not like going to a gas station, filling up with gas and going on your way, because it's going to take some time. So you want to think about that. When you get home at night, plug your car in. When you get to your office, plug your car in. But you don't want to stay there all day because it's only going to take a few hours to charge it. So you have to remember about unplugging it and moving your car so another electric vehicle can come in and charge. So what you need to use for these kind of places is a card or a key fob with an RFID. So I'm going to use this, and we're going to go here and we're going to tap our card. Tap card here. So I've tapped my card. It's ready to begin. So I'm pulling out So these are the two different types of outlets that you can use in these cars. Now you can use this one in this car because it has the two, or this is for a more powerful one. So that's not the one we're going to use. That's not the one. So we're going to use this one. So what we're going to do is pull it out here, plug it in. And this is a heavy one. This is a heavy charge. Snaps in, and you can see that the light on the car is flashing and it's initiating its session. It says there is 79% of power left in the car, so it's going to activate the power for us. Notice that all of these electric outlets here, there are 4 of them, and there's 4 parking spaces, so there's plenty of space here. You're going to find electric chargers around the country, so that's going to be easy to do. But remember, you're going to have to learn the difference between the different plugs, and that's a part of owning an electric vehicle. Now, interestingly enough, here at this electric charging station, there is a gas station, a Safeway gas station right here. As well as other things. You'll also find some of the gas stations like Sheetz and Reuters and a few others around the country. The more mainstream stations will also have electric chargers in the back somewhere. They're not going to miss out on the opportunity. And those are the stations that are probably going to have a place for you to buy a sandwich, use the bathroom and things like this. This station really does not have that opportunity. If you wanted to buy a sandwich, use the bathrooms, you would go over to the supermarket. So what happens while you're charged? When you go to a gasoline station, it only takes a few minutes and it's done. With an electric car, it takes a lot longer, depending on how much charge you need in your car. Now this one only needs about 20% of a charge, so it's not going to take a whole lot of time. So what do? You can sit in your car and do stuff, or like we are here at a shopping center, which is a very smart place to put a charger in, is that we can go to any one of the stores. We can go to, there's a supermarket here, there's a big box tech store, there's restaurants, there's a McDonald's right behind us, there's a Walgreens over there. So there's a variety of things that you can go off and do when you're at a charger. A number of our Safeway stores and some of our shopping centers have chargers in them. The Safeway, I can tell you, I know the one in Bethesda and the one in Alexandria both have free chargers. So that's an incentive to go there to shop. There's also a free charger at the Giant and Cathedral Commons. Now, the biggest concern about chargers is that they're not always available and they're not always working. So that's a really big thing. But with a little car like this, it's not going to take long to recharge the car. Now, if you have a bigger car, such as an I-Pace, if you saw our video on that one, that's going to take a lot longer. Our own personal Hyundai Ioniq Electric, and that is like this one. It's small, it's quick, it doesn't take any time whatsoever. So it's very easy to charge up. So that's the thing what you do when you're at a charging station. Overall thoughts on the Mini Cooper HT Electric. It is a blast to drive. Plenty of power, plenty of fun. enough space for basically a runaround vehicle. Now, you're not going to want to take this car or any Mini really on a long distance trip, but you might if you're willing to put up with some of the rougher rides on the highways, because doesn't have a long wheelbase. So it's a little bit of a rougher ride, but it's a sporty ride. If you like sports cars, you're going to love this car. And if you want a gasoline version, one of the things you're going to find in a Mini is you can still get a manual transmission. Thank you for watching this Queer4Cars and Automotive Business Report video on the 2020 Mini Cooper HT Electric. If you like the video, smash that like button and follow us here on YouTube on our Queer4Cars YouTube channel by hitting that subscribe button. And we look forward to bringing you more stories from the road about cars and trucks and the automotive lifestyle in the very near future. We look forward to seeing you then. Oh gosh. All right, I might be stuck here for years to come.